Hi, friends. It's November the 30th, 2024 at about 10:50 or so. I I feel like I ought to, since I'm since since I have so many subscribers and you depend on me to give some insight, some education, some fun. And I know there's not many of you out there that want to hear from me. I noticed I had 250 subscribers. If you'd like to be a subscriber, please do. I I tried to be honest. I tried to just put stuff. I don't try to put stuff on here that sells to y'all or that is fake. And tonight I'm going to share something that's not fake. I'm going to talk about something about having 1 year, not 1 year, but one day to live. I had one day to live. My mother, Ribby Wortham, who's passed away, had me about at age 40 years old. And her blood level, her blood type was a negative. Was negative blood type. And her husband, Earl Wortham, was positive blood type. On the second child, and I was the second child, my brother, he's passed away, but he was the first child and he lived. No problem. The second child, if at that time, it's different now. That's been corrected. But at that time, when I was born in 1949, if my mother was, or either parent, was RH negative and the other one was RH positive, your chances of living was 0. They didn't have any method to correct that. You were just going to die. And I was born then, 1949. So they kept a watch on me in the hospital. I think it was St. Elizabeth Hospital in Louisville. The doctor, bless his heart, Dr. Ogden, Odgen. You can look him up. Best doctor in the world. Later on, when I got sick on Sunday or passed out during a sermon, he'd say, bring your baby or bring your child to the office and I'll meet you there and we'll take care of the situation. That happened several times. Now, I didn't get to go home when I was born. I was supposed to die when I was born. I was supposed to die because anybody who had a parent that was Rh negative and Rh positive for the other parent was going to die. You don't now. This doesn't happen now. I may have been the first baby known to still be alive, to have lived through the fact that I was not supposed to live. So I was put into a hospital. I think it was St. Elizabeth. Hospital in Louisville. And they, intensive care, of course, or whatever they called it. Each day I was getting worse. I was dying, okay? But let me just say that I was dying. Dr. Ogden did all he could to save me. Dr. Ogden he's so wonderful that he'd come in on Sundays to see me afterwards and prescribe a medication that my parents had to pay in cash because they didn't have insurance back then. We're talking about 1949. I saw him put the money down at the cash register at the pharmacy. I saw that. That was after what I'm going to explain happened. If you're still with me, and please stay with me, because there's a couple other things toward the end that is very, very not only astronomical, but unbelievable. So hang with me through the whole thing. Now, I was put in a place where I was watched as I was decreasing and dying. It got so bad, I don't know if I was in there in days, weeks, or months, because my mother's dead. And I've called on my aunts and everybody related, and they can't tell me my parents are all dead. So I can't tell you the actual facts on this, but I will tell you this. I was so close to death. Within 24 hours, they've been tracking me. I was losing energy. I was living my life I wasn't one to live more than 24 hours. So here's what happened. My mother didn't call the next day. She didn't want to know if I was dead, close to death, or what. But what she did the night before, what she did before is what I want to talk about. There was a lady evangelist that prayed for people. And she said, anyone. This was in a park. I'm not sure if it's Central Park, Louisville, or where. No one I can ask now. But she was in the back listening. This lady says, I'm going to pray for anyone who has a need. My mother had a need. I think it was pride. I think it was pride that she didn't go forward to be prayed for her, quote, baby. She said, I heard this myself. Nobody can confirm it, but she told me this. She said, if God can cure my baby with prayer, I don't need to go up and have her pray for me. I think she was an Episcopalian minister who believed in healing. I called my aunt before she died and asked if she ever heard about this, and she said no. So she prayed herself for me and did not ask the minister to pray for me. The next day, she didn't call the office of where I was. The doctor who was connected to the hospital, she thought that this is bad. He always calls. Dr. Ogden always calls. And many of you listening, if you were in Pleasure Ridge Park, Kentucky, know Dr. Ogden. How do I know? Because I put this on email on Facebook, and I got tons of responses from people that had good experiences with Dr. Ogden. So, in the afternoon of the next day after the prayer service by the Episcopalian lady that was praying for people, she got a phone call from Dr. Ogden. It went like this. Mrs. Swartham, you didn't call about your baby tonight. I remember this. 1949, I remember. I remember the story. You didn't call about your baby. She said, I was afraid too. He was getting close to death. I was afraid he died. Dr. Agnew said, something happened. Last night, there was a turnaround in his health. And things started going upward instead of downward. And the reason that was yesterday, and the reason we didn't call you before now, he has gotten so much better. We had to determine whether or not he would come home to you. But we decided we're going to keep him another day for observation. Then he can come home tomorrow to your home, because things changed that fast overnight. I'll never forget it. I don't talk about it. But that's what happened. A prayer that she made at Central Park, but she wouldn't go forward, and I think it was because of pride. She didn't go forward to ask her to pray for me, because she said, if God will heal him, he can do it without me going forward. I wanted to share that with you because the number of people I've shared this with is less than 5. And it changed my whole life. I don't think that's why I went to the Southern Baptist Theological Seminary. I don't know if that's what influenced me. I don't know if that's what influenced me when I went to college to go to an independent Baptist church called Graceland. I don't know if all this was a plan. What can I say? But I'm alive at 75. And I've heard this story a couple times. I think it's true. In fact, I'd swear over the Bible it's true. If you don't believe God can do things, think about, is it possible that he could have done what I think he did to me? Now, if you've made it this far, I want to thank you for joining me. I want to invite you to become a subscriber, and I don't know what else to say except thanks for listening.